Hey guys, welcome back to the Family Formation Podcast. I'm your host, Zane Chowdhury, and happy holidays to whatever you guys may celebrate. If you are watching this in 2026, happy New Year to you guys as well. So it's been a long time since we uploaded. It's been holiday season and we've all been sick, but we'll be back uploading consistent weeks, and the playoffs are coming up, so we can't miss that for sure. So after what was a crazy week 17, we got a lot of recap, and let's get into it. But before that, we got to introduce ourselves. As I said, I'm Zane Chowdhury, and I'm the host.
I'm Hamza Chaudhry.
I'm Ayan Chaudhry.
I'm the mom.
So to start things off with our Week 17 recap, we have to talk about the most incredible game I've probably ever seen, the 49ers and the Bears, and what was an incredible shootout.
Yeah, it was a very high-scoring game. The score was 42-38, and the 49ers ended up winning it. It was a very good game.
Yeah, I think Caleb Williams has turned into a great player. He's developed a lot under Ben Johnson, and Luther Burden is becoming a really good wide receiver 2 to Roma Dunze. And when Roma Dunze isn't playing, he steps up into the wide receiver 1 role and does a pretty good job. The defense did not show up at all during that game, but Brock Purdy's 5 touchdowns got them over the edge against the Bears, and I really think it was a great game by both teams and both offenses.
I agree. I think it was one of the most exciting games, high-scoring games, phenomenal teams, and Brock Purdy played amazingly well.
Yeah, they both played amazing, Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams. What was a little upsetting was with 4 seconds left in the game, Caleb Williams tried to extend the play, started running around outside of the pocket, trying to get a touchdown, but just couldn't find anything open. And it was when the defense actually showed up. There was like pretty much no turnovers that entire game because it was just scoring. And then in the last 4 seconds of the game, the 49ers defense found a way to blanket the receivers, and that ended in the 49ers taking the win.
I mean, the defense showed up for the last play, but that was enough for the 49ers to get the edge over the Bears. So a great job by both offenses, but in the end, Brock Purdy's 5 touchdowns really helped them win the game.
100%.
I agree. No comments.
All right. Now, a little bit onto next week with a little bit of foreshadowing. We've got 2 upcoming games that will decide playoff spots. Both the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Panthers versus the Buccaneers. So earlier this week, in this week, we saw the Ravens beat the Packers drastically with Derrick Henry rumbling all over them. And I think if the Ravens can do that next week against the Steelers, they can get themselves a playoff spot.
I disagree because they were playing, sure, they had a backup QB, but they're also playing against the backup QB. So it's like, who's the worst of them, not really who's the best team.
Well, first of all, I have to thank Shedeur Sanders for getting a win against the Steelers and giving my Ravens a chance to make the playoffs, which made my week completely. And now I can live knowing that the Ravens still have a chance to make the playoffs this year. But I think the Ravens stand a good chance with DK Metcalf being suspended and Lamar Jackson returning from injury. I think the Steelers' offense slowed down a little bit against the Browns without DK Metcalf. And I think the Ravens need to take advantage of that and get a win this Sunday.
Derrick Henry is my favorite. I knew he'd come through. I said that all season long. Great game, I have to say. Who's the backup quarterback for the Ravens?
Snoop Huntley.
Snoop. All right. Snoop played amazing.
In my opinion, he was better than Lamar.
Ouch.
He was better than Lamar. Lamar would not have won that game against the Packers. I'm going to say that. Look, I know the Steelers lost to the Cleveland Browns, the trash can of the NFL. Sorry, Browns fans. I actually like Shedeur Sanders. Even though he threw 2 interceptions, they still won against the Steelers. If Lamar Jackson loses next week to the Steelers, I'm going to say it, Tyler Huntley is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
I think when Lamar is healthy, he does really well. I think if he's not on his best form, he shouldn't risk this critical component of the game because there's too much riding on it.
Right, but all Tyler Huntley did is hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, and even I could just stand there handing the ball to Derrick Henry.
The same thing, and it didn't happen.
And exactly. Whenever Lamar was in that field, they were losing games that they should have won. I think Tyler Huntley is a better player than Lamar Jackson.
But you're a good, loyal, dedicated Lamar Ravens fan, and for your sake, I hope they pull through.
I don't think Lamar Jackson, he's playing really well. He's a really bad quarterback this year. He might be one of the worst quarterbacks this year. And
I'm a Jets fan, by the way.
And I think they have a really high chance of losing to the Steelers.
Yeah, he wishes. Anyway, going back to Buccaneers and Panthers, I think that game's going to come down to which quarterback can make the least amount of mistakes. Baker Mayfield's been making a lot of mistakes. Bryce Young makes mistakes every other week, it seems like. But whichever quarterback makes less mistakes will end up in the playoffs.
I'm going to say Baker Mayfield has not been looking too good. There's some bright spots in him with his legs and how he can extend plays, but some terrible decision making from him. He's thrown too many bad interceptions in crucial moments that it's just not looking good. In my opinion, I think the Panthers are going to take that win and clinch a playoff spot because Bryce Young, it's been really inconsistent, but he's shown so much improvement from his rookie year that it's just I got faith in him.
I agree. I think the Panthers are going to win because currently Baker Mayfield is declining. As in the beginning of the season, the Buccaneers were once ranked the best team, and now they're barely going to make the playoffs if they make the playoffs. And the Panthers, they've been playing really well. Well, they've been inconsistent, but they have a really good chance at beating the Buccaneers.
It's so unpredictable, these games, that I'm not even going to make a prediction on what I think can happen, because when I think something will, it doesn't, and vice versa. So, but may the best team win is all I'll say.
So with the playoffs coming right around the corner, we do have to talk about some surprising eliminations. In Week 17, we saw the Lions lose to Max Brosmer and the Vikings, the worst quarterback I've probably ever seen play the game. But the only reason that they lost is because the Lions had 6 turnovers.
I think the Lions, Jared Goff played terrible that game. I started him in fantasy. My team got destroyed. He just played terrible. They had 6 turnovers, you said?
Yeah.
So it was a really bad game for the Lions.
I think it was also bad play calling. With what's made you successful all season is your running game behind Jahmyr Gibbs. You don't abandon that in the game where you need to win the most.
Gibbs fumbled.
Yeah, still, you fumble, you don't fumble, you put your best player on the field. And if it's been working all season, I don't know why you stop when you need it the most. So play calling is a problem. It's the same thing with the Ravens. Play calling becomes a problem. But when you have a really all-star running back, you give him the ball when you need him the most.
Yeah, Dan Campbell couldn't get any offense going that game. They only scored 10 points, I believe. Yeah, something abysmal. They couldn't get any offense going, and I think, that's the reason they're eliminated. They have a great team, they have a stacked offense, and they just couldn't get it going against the Vikings. Not a really good team with terrible quarterback play from Max Brosmer. J.J. McCarthy was injured. It was pathetic, and I'm going to say that's the reason the Lions deserve to be eliminated.
I'm not a Lions fan, not gonna lie, but usually they play really well. So seeing them be eliminated at this point was surprising considering last season and how things went.
I really had high hopes for the Lions going into this year. I was convinced, I think at least an NFC Championship game with how they played last year, as you were saying. But no, they're eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, but last year they had Ben Johnson, who's arguably the best offensive play caller I've ever seen. So that's one of the reasons why their offense was so explosive last year, and it really did take a step
We
back.
talked about the Bears earlier and how they've looked phenomenal, and that's because of Ben Johnson and his play caller.
Yeah.
Another surprising elimination is the Chiefs. A lot of people may be saying, the Chiefs are overrated. Yeah, I agree they are, but everyone thought coming into this year they're going to make the playoffs. They always do. It's 3 things are guaranteed in life. You pay taxes, and the Chiefs will make the playoffs. That's one of the guaranteed things in life. But they didn't. And I think part of that is because Mahomes tore his ACL.
I think they would have not made the playoffs either way. Mahomes, he's been playing really bad this year, so
He's been clutch, though, and that's what Mahomes did.
Here's the thing. Near the end of the season is when Mahomes really starts to take off, and when they need him the most, he shows up. So I think if he didn't tear his ACL, he'd be one of these floater teams that would still be fighting for a playoff spot.
I disagree because he lost his connection with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce hasn't been playing well.
Not true at all.
He hasn't been playing well this
He
year.
hasn't been playing well, but their connection has stayed strong.
But he still hasn't been playing well. He's been playing really bad.
But he's also 36 years old.
Yeah, but that's no exception.
I agree with Hamza. I'm surprised at how the Chiefs played this whole season. Not a Chiefs fan either, so not disappointed that they didn't make it. However, it is definitely surprising to see teams like the Lions and the Chiefs, who you are consistently used to seeing making it to the Super Bowl, much less the playoffs, but this is where we are this year.
Yeah, definitely prayers up to Mahomes on his injury, but you expect him to make it. He does every year. He still has a strong connection with his teammates, but they just haven't gotten much going.
I think Travis is distracted with Taylor. He wants to get married and move on.
Aren't they engaged?
They're getting married soon.
Oh, nice.
I think if you give the Mahomes a good running back, he'll make the playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see how that ends up in the offseason.
Jeremiah Love.
I also didn't see a lot of those amazing plays that Mahomes made last year, like throwing the ball out of as he's falling, he's throwing a ball and someone's catching it. It wasn't like a lot of those Mahomey moments that everyone went crazy about.
Glaze. Chris Colesworth Glaze.
There we go.
You're glazing. Okay, another upset or surprise elimination is the Colts. You know, all of us on this podcast were talking about, oh, the Colts are going to make the playoffs. Indiana Jones is the GOAT. Unfortunately, he also tore his ACL. Prayers to his recovery as well. And they are also eliminated from the playoffs. Phillip Rivers, though, the nearly 50-year-old man, has surprisingly been playing well.
I disagree with that. I mean, sure, he got a lot of points, but if he can't win a game, then you're not playing well.
Look, man, he's 50 years old. Give the man some.
Yum, 50, yum.
50 is not young. In terms of NFL, no way. He's like, what, 40, 45 or something? 44? He's too old.
Well, it doesn't matter how many points he scores if he can't win a game.
I know. It's all about winning at the end, but you got to give the man some
And
credit.
for being a desperate quarterback situation, it's not the worst case. He hasn't been playing too bad for a 44, and better than any Jets quarterback this season. I'll say that. And I was surprised when they went on their major losing streak, but after Daniel Jones went down, I pretty much knew that their season wasn't gonna end well, especially with JT not being the same player near the end of the season.
Yeah, he kind of fell off. He was like projected, so many rushing yards, so many touchdowns, offensive player of the year potential.
And now he's not even leading the NFL rushing yards.
I know. He's fallen off a little bit.
If you guys are watching, if you'll notice, at this point in the season, tensions rise high, emotions run deep, especially when your teams are fighting to make it to the playoffs. Your teams don't make it to the playoffs, or your favorite player has been hurt and is no longer playing. So if you notice these sibling dynamics here, you're going to notice some of those things coming through in this conversation.
We're not fighting for a playoffs. We're fighting for the first overall pick. That's badly. And only one, so we don't even have the first pick. So it's like, pick a struggle, you know? Oh, man.
We need Scatterboo back, Zane. We need Scatterboo.
The injuries messed it up. Okay, getting a little off track here. To wrap this up, I got a question. You guys can leave your answer in the comments, and we're going to discuss our answer here. Who do you guys think was the most surprising player that actually was pretty good this year?
I think it was Jawan Jennings. I mean, when he's healthy, he played really well. He gets a lot of touchdowns, receptions. He's inconsistent, but he's overall a really good player.
I can agree with that. For me, I'm going to say Wan'Dale Robinson. As a Giants fan, he stepped up with Malik Neighbors' injury and became a 1,000-yard receiver this season. Congratulations to him. A lot of credit to him. I mean, he showed up this year when he really needed to.
Yeah, switching off from the receivers, I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence. Liam Cohen has really unlocked him as a player.
100%.
Near the middle of the season, I thought, okay, here we go again. The Jaguars start strong and finish weak. But right now, the Jaguars are probably a top 3 team in the NFL. They beat the Broncos, the number 1 seed in the AFC, 2 weeks ago. I think this Jaguars team can be scary going into the postseason if this same Trevor Lawrence is the one that's going into the playoffs.
I agree. I go back to when we were talking about the Ravens, their backup quarterback, Snoop.
Okay.
All right, Snoop, you played well. You were my surprise.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. We'll be posting every week for the postseason and for the rest of the season. There's one more week. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Good night.